Hey everyone, here's the Infinity Saga Quicksilver from the Age of Ultron movie. You can see 3 broken pieces of Ultron and also an alternate hand on the clamshell. And in the box itself, the head sculpt looked kind of decent, but one thing that I noticed is that the body looks kind of small, because in the movies, Aaron Taylor Johnson is quite built, almost as big as Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, I feel. So yeah, the figure kind of looks a bit on the smaller side. But anyways, here is the back of the box, a poster of Age of Ultron and a short bio. Here's the side, is the same as all the Infinity Saga boxes. Same pictures on both sides. Here's the top of the box and the bottom. Now let's get the figure out. Here's the figure in the clamshell. I always like the look of the figure on the clamshell because it looks really organized and kind of cool to have the figure suspended on the plastic. Yeah, anyways, this is the cardboard backing, which is the same as all the other Infinity Saga boxes. Here's the figure, and let's get him out. So here's the figure, looking great out of the clamshell. So again, the figure comes with a pair of alternate hands and also these 3 broken Ultron parts. Let's take a look at the first one over here, which is the arm. The sculpt on it is really great and the metallic paint is really awesome. It kind of reminds me of Toy Biz standard. The other one is the spine and head of an Ultron robot. Again, great detail and sculpt. And the last part is the upper torso. Right, look at this intricate sculpt within the chest piece. So yeah, all these 3 Ultron parts really look great. Next is the pair of hands. This is the alternate hands, and I got to say the paintwork is really a hit and miss. For the right hand, looks kind of okay. But for the left hand, you can see the grey paintwork bleeding into the skin color. Same goes for this finger over here, the 4th finger. So the paintwork for this is really down to your luck, whether you get a good one or not. Hands aside, let's take a look at the head sculpt. The head sculpt is quite okay. There is a bit of resemblance to Aaron Taylor Johnson, but it is definitely nowhere as great as the Tony Stark head from the Mark 85. That one is really on point, but this one, however, is just okay. Some resemblance, but really not that accurate. And for the hair, I feel like this is done by a newbie customizer, because yeah, I thought that usually Hasbro does better hair than this. It really looks like someone just customized it and it doesn't look as nice to me. But I guess overall, I do find the head still acceptable. But like I said earlier, nowhere near the standard of Tony Stark Mark 85 head. Next, the grey shirt is really awesome because it is textured just like in the movie. You can see the texture on the torso, in fact all the way down to the fist. Same goes at the back, on the blue area as well. So I would say that is one good thing about this figure. The texture on it is actually quite great and movie accurate. There is some silver at the side of the torso. I guess they have to add silver because he's Quicksilver, right? So there it is. Just like the alternate hands, the paintwork on the fist isn't that great. The edge of the grey isn't painted well, especially at the thumb area. Same thing for the other fist. The edge of the grey is not really painted that well. Fortunately, from the front view, it isn't really that obvious, but it is still something that I spotted. One thing that irks me, however, is the bicep swivel. The one on the right arm is okay, but if you look at this figure of mine, you can see the gap at the bicep swivel on this side. Just a teeny weeny gap, but obvious enough for me to spot. And I'm quite particular about this kind of nitty gritty details, and yeah, it's kind of a slight turn off for me when I get a figure like this. Down to the pants, there is some sculpt over here and some crumples and creases. Mine has some green paint spots, probably from the bottom of the foot. Here's the back of the figure, and down to the shoes. I think I do see the 3 stripes for Adidas, although there isn't any Adidas logo, of course. And again, there are green paint stains over here. Overall, the appearance of this figure is quite movie accurate, from the grey shirt to the pants and to the shoes. Articulation. Just like the recent figures, this figure also has the double-ended ball peg joints for the head, and there is also a notch at the back so that the head is able to move back further. He's able to look up this much, down, and of course all around. The double-ended ball peg joint also allows the head to tilt left and right. Arms go up this much sideways, bicep swivel, double hinge elbow joint, and of course it has the pinless pegs for the elbow joint and the knee joints, wrist swivel and hinge. He has the mid-torso joint, which allows him to only move back this much and move forward. The mid-torso joint also allows the figure to move sideways, although you'll see a bit of edge of the bottom half of the torso over here. And it does allow rotation as well on top of the waist swivel, which also allows torso rotation. Good amount of split and frontal split as well. One thing about the hip joint is that it is similar to the retro Spidey, whereby they have individual pegs for each leg. So you can see I can actually lower the leg a bit. You can see the gap over there when I bring it down. Same for the other side. So that allows better movement on the hips. Thigh swivel, double hinge knee joint, pinless. There isn't any calf swivel, and ankle rocker, and it also hinges up and down. So the articulation on this figure is actually quite great. Now for some size comparison with the other Age of Ultron figures. Here is Hawkeye, Iron Man Mark 43, which is slightly taller, Captain America. So I was saying earlier that the figure was looking a bit smaller in build. Like, I feel the torso should have been a bit bigger. So when you compare it with Captain America, you can kind of see that Quicksilver is slightly smaller in size. Ultron, definitely way bigger than him. Thor, whose figure has always been oversized until we got the Fat Thor version, which is finally, I feel, is the right size. This Thor figure is like one head taller than all the other figures. Black Widow, the most saddest looking Black Widow ever. And of course, Scarlet Witch. I guess these two figures does kind of look okay, but Scarlet Witch definitely doesn't have the first appearance like in the movie. And last but not least, Hulk, who is definitely bigger than Quicksilver, but I think MCU Hulk should have been a bit bigger than this. So we finally have a complete lineup of all the Age of Ultron characters. Overall, I feel the Quicksilver figure is quite decent. It has been a long time coming. Even back then, I was really sure that Hasbro would eventually release the MCU Quicksilver, and they have kind of delivered. The head sculpt isn't that great, but to me, it is still passable. I am okay with it. At the very least, the sculpt on the figure is actually quite decent. Like I mentioned earlier, the textured shirt and pants, and also the shoes. Some bad points about the figure is that the paintwork on both pair of hands, the fists and the open finger hands, isn't really that great. There is a high chance you will get one with grey paint bleeding. And also for my figure, I had a few spots of green stains on the legs and also the shoes. And in terms of size, I would have preferred if he had a slightly more built torso, because he does look kind of on the smaller side compared to the Captain America figure. And in the movie, Aaron Taylor Johnson is quite built. Once again, overall a good figure, but definitely not the best that Hasbro could have done. I'm still okay with the figure though, because at least we managed to finish up the Age of Ultron lineup. Thanks for watching. Do check out my other comparison videos and reviews, and I'll see you in the next one.